It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Fulton Center, the embodiment of New York City grandeur. Complete with glossy floors and mesmerizing ceilings, the one-of-a-kind station is a pleasant place to transfer through. Chambers Street Station, located under New York City Civic Center, though that is hard to tell judging by the stark contrast in appearances. Would you believe these stations are only one stop apart? Fulton Center was proposed in 2002 after 9/11 caused extensive damage to the transit infrastructure in the financial district. The glorified mall was completed in 2014, 7 years and $650 million over budget. Built in 1913, Chambers Street Station was designed to be Brooklyn Rapid Transit's Manhattan hub. Despite how it may seem today, the station was actually one of the most crowded in the system. Remnants of this past success are still visible today through the long-abandoned center platform.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
With up to 300,000 riders per day, by all means, the reconstruction of a Fulton Street station was needed. What this doesn't mean, however, is that this was the best way of doing it. Within a 1-mile radius of Fulton Center lies 2 other extravagant stations, the World Trade Center Transportation Hub, also known as the Oculus, and the New South Ferry Station. Within the same circle, however, lies the infamous Chambers Street Station. These projects clearly illustrate that the government has money, but if that's the case, what happened to Chambers Street? To see why this is happening to Chambers Street, I first have to take a look outside Manhattan. The J and Z trains primarily run through the Williamsburg, Bushwick, and Jamaica parts of Brooklyn and Queens, serving a lot of lower income areas. Despite what the Department of Defense may think, the government is not some sort of infinite money pit. As a result, the government has to choose which stations receive more funding. This often means it is stations like these which are largely left unkempt. Either we wait for politicians to care about the thousands of New Yorkers living in these areas, hint, never happening, or we stop allowing for the construction of billion-dollar projects in the heart of Manhattan. Building fewer grand stations would mean there is more money for the government to fund projects like adding elevators or platform screen doors, but especially station renovations. This is not even considering other non-station related projects like the introduction of new train cars.
The next stop is Times Square, 42nd Street.
You might think these large stations prevent overcrowding. When we look at Times Square, 42nd Street, however, we can see that this is not the case. Despite not having a large station building, it is still able to handle being the most visited station in the system.
This is the last stop on this train.
While it may not be the most popular station, Chambers Street is still an important piece in the puzzle. Above all, the New York City subway is a taxpayer-funded service meant for getting New Yorkers to where they need to go, not for pandering to politicians with farcical construction projects. While I may sound completely against building new stations, that's not fully true. Despite being more extravagant than we may have needed, the 2nd Avenue subway is a good example of this. It's good to see new stations being constructed, just please, no more Fulton Centers.